Hello, my name starts with an E, so I'll refer to myself as E. I am Asian American, stand at 5 feet 6 inches tall, and is currently 26 years old. I am an incel, but I consider myself more as FA or forever alone. I am a virgin. I've never kissed a girl or held hands or had any type of romantic relationship. I don't really agree with the views that incels have on women, men, or that attractiveness is the deciding factor on how well you do socially. I believe that the reason I've been alone for the majority of my life is because I had never made an effort to connect with people. So I'll start with my childhood. Throughout school, I avoided social interaction. I had friends and was liked by most people. I was bullied quite a few times for a number of things: being short, being Asian, skinny, being a nerd, and it affected my self-confidence quite a bit. Despite that, I don't think I have any kind of severe mental issues or illnesses, at least none that I know of. I've had girls like me and even had crushes on me before, but I was too shy. I either ignored them or turned them down. Even girls that straight up asked me out, I rejected. I highly regret these choices. I think that if I didn't do that if I did form those relationships, that I would not be like how I am today. On the non-romantic side of things, I had a decent circle of friends, but whenever I was asked to hang out or was invited to any kind of social gathering, I always had a convenient excuse as to why not to go. I regret these choices as well. Had I not done that, I believe that I would be much more skilled at socializing than I am today. I never went to school dances, and I didn't go to prom. As for my academic performance, I did the bare minimum to get by. Lots of C's and D's, and I never took any kind of advanced placement classes. I think my final GPA was around a 2.7. After graduating high school, I went to community college. I actually had no desire to continue my education, but what else was I going to do? I struggled to find a job, and I felt it was impossible to get one without experience or a college education. My college years were even more lonely than my primary school years. I had even fewer friends, and the ones that I did have, I would turn down their invites to social functions. I never spoke to a single girl during my time at community college. I remember one time on the first day of a science class, the professor announced that we will be forming groups, and that this would be your group for the rest of the class. Fine, I thought. But then he announced that you're free to group up with anyone you like. I saw everyone in class get up and began talking to one another, quickly forming groups. I quickly packed my things, left the class, and dropped out of it. At 21, I landed my first job. It was a minimum wage fast food job, and I would work these kind of jobs for the next few years. At these jobs, I was well liked by my coworkers and were friends with them, but like the rest of my life, I would turn down their invites to hang out. I don't think anyone suspected that I was an incel or FA. My excuses were believable, and I would often lie about hanging out with other friends to make it seem like I had a social life. At 22 years old, I decided to do something about my appearance. I started lifting, wore more expensive, nice clothing, wore contacts instead of glasses, and improved my hygiene, shaving my face and getting a decent haircut, stuff like that. I started to feel a little better about myself. I felt that I was actually attractive for once, and my coworkers would often mention it. They said things like I was getting swole or that I looked like a new man. It did improve my self-confidence a little bit, but ultimately nothing changed. I still avoided any kind of social interaction outside of work. At 23, I finally completed my associate's degree. It was just a useless associate's in arts, and I decided not to continue school. My parents were highly disappointed in me. They always pushed me to do well in school because they believed it was the key to success. They were Asian immigrants that worked blue-collar jobs their whole lives. Together, they made decent money and were able to provide a comfortable middle-class life for me. They're aware of my lack of social life and would always bring it up at social functions. I hated it. My mom especially would tell people, even complete strangers, that I never go out with friends or never had a girlfriend. It's so awful, and I wanted to die every time it happened. 25 is when my life started to turn around a bit. Got my first full-time job, and it's a pretty good one. Decent pay, full health, dental, and vision insurance at no cost, and the work itself is very easy. There's a pretty big downside though. Other than interacting with customers, I work alone, and when I do see my coworkers, it's just when I clock in. Also, they're much older than me, and I don't really relate with them. I miss the people from my old jobs. Now I am 26. I have a decent amount of money saved up, and I'm the best looking I've ever been, but I'm also the unhappiest I've ever been. I used to convince myself that I liked being alone, but it was just a way of coping for me. In reality, I hate it. and I wouldn't wish it upon anybody. Just writing about this makes me a little sick, and talking about it out loud makes me even more sick. I don't want to be like this anymore, so I'm going to try to get better, and this is my plan. Here are my short-term goals. Get out to social functions every weekend. This shouldn't be too hard. I like video games, and there's a local gaming meetup I can go out to. It's a bit of a drive, but I'm willing to do it. I'm also going to try volunteer work and take various classes on things. Basically anything that forces people to interact with me. If I chicken out on those things, I think I can still fall back on the gaming meetups, since it's the least intimidating for me. Move out of my parents' house. With the amount of money I've been saving, I think I should be able to get my own place soon. I'm considering a place with roommates, but that could be a little too much for me, as I'm pretty paranoid about people learning about my incel status. However, it would save me quite a bit of money, as rent is pretty high in my area. Lose my virginity. I don't care how I lose it, as it's not really important to me. I just want to experience sex. I plan on visiting a brothel in Nevada to lose it. My virginity is a bit of a mental block for me, and I think that losing it will help. Maybe it'll help my confidence, or maybe it'll show me that sex is nothing special, but either way, I think it'll cure my sexual frustration. Long-term goals. Have a circle of friends that I hang out with regularly, and be in a relationship with a girl. And these are pretty self-explanatory. I will be documenting my life from here on out and uploading my stories weekly. I think this will be good for me because it makes it easier to reflect on my actions in life and then identify these issues and address them. Wish me luck, everybody. See you next week.